Hello, everyone. Long time no see. I hope the settings on the stream are still okay. Have audio, visuals. The Twitch chat might not be functioning. It usually has some issues. And I was testing it earlier. It doesn't really show up on screen. But the rest seem okay. I couldn't figure out what was wrong with that. There were some updates with OBS and stream elements that I haven't done, and I was afraid to do at the last moment, so I didn't give them a go. Maybe that's the reason the Twitch chat is not showing up on screen. It does show though normally on the chat bar. So it's been a while. I had some time off. I traveled a bit and prepared some more D&D content for my games, in which I have realized that some subclasses are really forgotten, and to new players they're not even like known. Like you see the names on the lists, but no one even remembers what they do anymore. They're so nerfed. I mean, not nerfed. They're so overshadowed by other subclasses that are newer and way more powerful that no one picks them anymore. So I was thinking that these subclasses deserve some attention again. And of course you can tweak them, but tweaking the subclass itself is not always very easy or easy to balance. Like you need play testers for sure. You need a lot of people to play test anything you make. And currently I do not have that possibility to have like hundreds of play testers give me that feedback. So instead of tweaking subclasses themselves, I decided to make some tailored magic items for those specific subclasses and have them obtain them from the get-go. What's the difference between a magic item and tweaking the subclass? The magic item itself can be deactivated, can be tinkered, can be stolen. And while this doesn't sound very good for the player themselves, it is a way for the DM to fix some kind of mistake that they have done with something like being overpowered or being underwhelming. Like you could give the magic item to, let's say, an enchanter and boost its properties through enchanting. So instead of having out of game and metagaming changes, let me change your item because it sucks, you have it woven into the narrative and able to change throughout the campaign. If it is a feature, features do not change easily unless you give a magic item again that affects said feature, so you're back to the magic item concept. Or maybe boons and blessings and stuff like that, but again you have to give something else that tinker with the feature itself. Like you don't really go and change the feature in any way that it would fit the narrative. So that's my reasoning for having it as a magic item and not as a tweaking the subclass features themselves. Now, which of them are these? Which are these subclasses that I'm talking about? There are a few, actually more than a few subclasses that are really forgotten by players. But after checking different discussions online, Reddit and forums, there are some of them show up way more than others. And of course, gathering as much data as you can from other groups and other players as well helps you get a better understanding of the balance. Because yeah, in my games there might be a class that is not picked, but it might not be picked because of the theme of the world, because of the way that I run combat encounters, or the way how much is my ratio between role play and combat or exploration, because some classes like Sign a little bit more on combat, others more on exploration or role-playing. So if you're judging only by your games, you might get a little bit skewed statistics. So consensus online drove me towards the Beastmaster, the Ranger. Beastmaster Ranger being infamous class for being underpowered, and Beastmaster by far the most, I would say, unappreciated currently class. It's one of the oldest, of course. It came out with the Player's Handbook. It's been now 8 years that this subclass exists. There have been some changes in tasks, cauldron of everything, some optional features, which some of them help, some of them kind of make it worse. There is this primal companion alternative to the beast companion, which does have some benefits, but also takes away a lot of the design of the subclass. And then there is the Drake Warden. The Drake Warden clearly superior to the Beastmaster, at least in terms of combat powers. The Drake, I think, it is more powerful than the primal companions from Tassus as well. AC is higher, the reaction that it has available is quite strong, and it also evolves into pretty much a mount and a dragon later on. So I'm gonna try to make a magic item for the Beastmaster that could make them competitive option with the Drake Warden, because it is a direct comparison. So we want the Beastmaster to be equally, if not a little bit stronger than the Drake Warden, preferably equally, but not feeling the same. That's the hard part. Like, of course, you could make the Beast like copy or make similar stats with the Drake and just switch the action to a bonus action as the Drake Warden has. But then you have made another Drake Warden, except instead of a Drake, you have something that's called something else. So I don't want to end up doing that, because that's the same class, the same subclass in the end. It doesn't change much. So let's go and check the Ranger's original content. I mean the features. Where is my Player's Handbook? Okay, let's find it on D&D Beyond. Ranger. Okay. So they're called conclaves, if I remember right. Archetypes, I think it is part of a conclave, like Rangers, their subclasses. Do I remember wrong? They're not called conclaves? I thought they were called conclaves. Ranger, they're just called archetypes? Huh. Why do I remember specifically the word conclave? Could it have been another edition? Maybe. Okay, Beastmaster. So at third level, you pick your subclass, you get to choose a beast that is no larger than medium and has a challenge rating of 1/4 or lower. Now the medium size is okay. It is not intended to be a mount. It is intended to be a companion that fights alongside you. Now beasts. Limitation on beasts. You could go outside of the beast with the magic item, but that gets out of the theme of the Beastmaster. It's also called Beastmaster, right? It's not called Monstrosity Master or Aberration Master. So it's better to stay within the beast, so not tweaking there, not adding anything there as well. You could add, the best thing you can add as DM is some beasts that are better suited to be companions. You can either homebrew them or find there are multiple third-party source books or sources that provide such beasts. Add your proficiency bonus to the beast's AC, attack rolls, and damage rolls. This sometimes is not enough. So the magic item that I'm thinking to make would give further damage to that beast. How much further damage, we'll find that out. We'll try to balance it. As well as saving throws and skill that is proficient in. Its hit points maximum equals to the hit point number in the stat block or 4 times your ranger level, whichever is higher. Now this also needs some boosting. The Drake of the Drake Warden, for example, is 5 plus 5 times your ranger level. So it is already higher than the 4 times your ranger level, unless you find some beast that is particularly chunky on his HP block, but those usually do not have very interesting other features. So we want to increase a little bit the HP and the damage, and maybe add some common action that all those beasts would have to help the ranger. The beast obeys your commands as best as it can. It takes its turn on your initiative. On your turn, you can verbally command the beast where to move. No action required to you. You can use your action to verbally command it to take the attack, dash, disengage, or help action. Now, this is the problematic part, as it was addressed in tasks. Although the solution to make it a bonus action, at start it looks much better, right? Your action is the main thing you want. You prefer to have your action than your bonus action. But then again, not having the bonus action on all of your turns, it takes out many other options. For example, dual wielding. By having no bonus action, if you spend it on your beast, the ranger will never be able to dual wield, at least the Beastmaster Ranger. So maybe the magic item needs to address this as well. If the attacks of the beasts are relatively weaker than the drakes, we could have the magic item take away the action requirement from the ranger to command the beast to attack at least. Maybe the help should use some kind of resource for sure. Otherwise, it's going to be spammed everywhere. Disengage and dash, this is debatable. Also, it has really bad logic. Like it says, you can verbally command the beast to move somewhere. You can say, hey wolf, move there. But if you say, hey wolf, attack that guy, that is somehow way more taxing at your 6-second turn than the command to move. And once you have the extra attack feature, you can make one weapon attack yourself when you command the beast to take the attack action. So you substitute, what it actually means is you substitute one of your attacks to command the beast attack. Hello, Kevin. Welcome. we're analyzing the old, forgotten, underwhelming Beastmaster subclass, and how we could bring it up to the power of its competition subclasses with a magic item. What would that magic item need to do to make the Beastmaster not only as strong as the Drake Warden, but also feel different? Because you can make it identical, it's very easy to do, making the Beastmaster behaving like the Drake, and that's about it. So we're analyzing in Forbidden Book. Yes, there is an update. I saw the update. I'm aware of the update. That it also makes it similar to the Drake Warden. Like it moves the action to a bonus action and makes the beast into a primal companion, which also behaves very similar to the Drake of the Drake Warden, but is slightly weaker than the Drake. Like a little bit less AC, a little bit less HP, some more varied attack options, but that's about it. My problem with that, although balancing sounds okay, like it is very similar to the Drake Warden. The Drake Warden is still better. Like I don't know why you would pick the primal companion over the Drake, since the Drake is just better. But my problem is that it kind of ruins the theme of the Beastmaster. And when I say the theme is, at least in my perspective, that Beastmaster theme is that a ranger that finds a wild beast, tames it through some kind of meaningful story experience, etc., and makes a bond with it, and that beast becomes its companion that fights alongside. If you make this the primal companion of Tassus, the beast suddenly becomes a magical entity that you summon at your whim. You can resurrect at your whim. It loses all the narrative and story that goes with the Beastmaster subclass. And the same happens to the Drake as well. Like, okay, yeah, it died. Boo-hoo. I will summon it again with another spell slot, or after I wake up after a long rest, I can summon it again. So it's not a creature. It's not an NPC. It's not. I mean, it is a creature. It's not an NPC in the sense that there is no value in its life. You can sacrifice it, kill it over and over again, and nothing changes. Like it is built to behave like that. And I don't want the same for the Beastmaster. I want the Beastmaster to have a companion that they will obtain through some narrative, some choices, some narrative elements, some progression in the story, and try to keep it alive as long as they can, preferably forever. Because like it matters to them. It is their companion. It matters as much as the other party members. And I want to retain that design, to keep that, so to make the beast a little bit harder to kill as well than the Drake. But probably not as because it will not have the possibility to resurrect. My pet would be more important than party member. Yes. I think, yeah, that would be true. And give it the possibility of, like when it goes to 0 hit points, to not die immediately. I want a magic item that will help with that as well. Like maybe it would die if it takes a certain amount of damage below 0, and so that it could be not resurrected, like it could go unconscious. Not exactly as player characters do. I don't want to give death saving throws to a pet or the ability to stabilize it, because actually, even the ability to stabilize it might be good, because it's gonna be back with 1 HP. So yeah, maybe the stabilizing part is necklace of a wound closure item that could lift some ideas from. Okay, I'll check that out as well. So yeah, I want to address that part to make the beasts, the companions, HP going to 0 more tragic story-wise, similar to like a player's character would be, but not have it like instantly die the moment it touches 0 on its hit points. What else did the Beastmaster have? Once incapacitated, the beast can act on its own. The beast never requires your command to use its reaction. Okay, that's good. I feel like Beastmaster could have a summoner playstyle. It goes again against this I was explaining before. The moment if you have multiple ones, then they instantly become less important than if you had one. And if we're talking about like normal summoners and the ability to summon them, they lose again their importance as a living important creature, and they become resources. That's why I think the summoner is better than on a wizard rather than on a ranger. The ranger is supposed to make a natural training multiple pets. Yeah, okay, that negates the point with the summoning, but still there's the point that if you have many, their importance is divided, right? If you have one, you care the most because it is one, you don't want to lose it. If you have many, like, okay, one died, maybe I'm gonna be sad a bit, I'm gonna have some regrets for a while, but I have like, I don't know, 5 more. Also, there is action economy. If we're talking about D&D 5e combat, there is action economy. Having multiple pets is gonna slow down things a lot and possibly make it overpowered, depending on what actions they can take. What could be done in that is forming bonds with different pets and calling upon them if he's in the area. So, for example, you go on an island adventure, then the ranger forms a bond, I don't know, with a shark, with a sea turtle, something that lives on the island. Then doesn't have to be necessarily a water creature. Maybe it's, I don't know, a big parrot. When the ranger leaves the island, the companion does not follow there. The companion's natural habitat is the island. So he forms a bond with another one in the new area. So he has like multiple bonds in multiple areas with a beast that he can call for help when he's in that area. And maybe he has like a main one. There's like one that follows him around, and there is one extra depending on the area that they are adventuring in. Although not both of them should be active in combat. Like, you could switch between your main companion and your regional, let's say, companion. But that's about it, like 2 choices per area, not more than that. Exceptional training could act more like a familiar. But if it acts like a familiar, then you're stepping into familiar territory. like a wizard that learns the familiar spell. Why would they choose to learn a spell if a ranger gets it for free? Like you don't want overlapping concepts. The find familiar spell is specifically designed for that, and if another class gets it for free, then it makes that spell pretty much useless. Even if it is not exactly the same, like if you do not share senses, if it is just a little creature that can scout for you, which you know that is going to be hard to die, not because practically it's hard to die, but because the DM will feel bad most of the time to kill your little creature when you're away from it. So metagaming, you know that your little creature is going to survive 99% of the time, unless your DM tells you that this is a very dangerous area, your creature might die, and you still send it anyway. So yeah, we don't want to overlap the class concepts. We want to try to boost the Beastmaster, but keep it unique to the theme of one beast that is important, that is not a magical creature that comes and goes and can be resummoned with a spell slot, etc., etc. And that also will reflect on the boosts. Craft items for the pet. That is a good idea. That is a good idea. Not only crafting items, but investing in terms of like the more you keep it alive, the same pet. Let's say that you tame a wolf, you get a wolf at level 3. The more levels you get while this wolf is with you and alive, the wolf's bonuses should increase. So there's investment in caring for your companion, in keeping it alive. Also, the items that you mentioned, that's a good idea. Some items that could enhance the pet's capabilities. It has to be within reason, though. Like you cannot craft plate armor for a wolf. You can craft maybe some padding, some kind of protective gear around its vital spots, but yeah, no plate armor for a wolf. And the bonuses should be still small, like because it is something that you will obtain with gold, which is usually easily found in D&D games. And you're not gonna lose the armor easily. Like no one's gonna try to steal pet armor, or the bonuses should be like small. Depends on what other bonuses it gets by staying alive, but it is a good concept. We just need to be careful on the balancing part. Exceptional training. Let's see what other things it does as it levels up. Beginning at 7th level, on any of your turns when your beast companion doesn't attack, you can use your bonus action to command the beast to take the dash, disengage your hell action. Okay, that's quite bad. Like your beast companions should be attacking like on every turn, unless there is something super important to do. The action economy needs to change for this subclass to be more viable. In addition, the beast attack now counts as magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage. Okay, that's good. That still stays. Bestial Fury, starting at the 11th level, when you command your beast to take the attack action, the beast can make 2 attacks, or it can take the multi-attack action if it has that action. That's a little bit wonky, because how do you use if the beast has other actions? that involve some kind of like you cannot command it to take any of its normal actions that it does on its own. Like if you have a spider that can shoot web, you cannot command it to shoot web because it's not the attack action, it's not the dash action, disengage, or help action. So yeah, the item needs to change that part as well, that you command it to take an action. Actually, maybe yeah, you still would need to command it. Is it? I can't remember. But some beasts might have something that is not under the attack action. So it's not possible to use any of the features if they're not an attack. So the Bestial Fury should give just an extra attack in general and not... and it should be able to use, like if it has multi-attack, it should be able to use it before 11th level. They're not, they're balanced 1/4. They're still balanced with their multi-attack, 1/4 CR. And share spells beginning at 15th level. When you cast a spell targeting yourself, it affects also the beast. Okay, that's fine. So we want an item that will change action economy for the beast, that will boost the beast's damage Yes, it does stay with 1/4 CR. It scales based on your proficiency, but that's not enough, apparently. Otherwise, people would have played the Beastmaster. Okay, let's start writing things down so we don't forget Beastmaster. Booster item. We'll figure out a name later. It's gonna be some kind of trinket or amulet, maybe. So action economy. What do we do about the action economy? I'm willing to risk it and make it a little bit overpowered as a start. Like remove the action requirement from the ranger completely, and instead say that at the end of your turn, your beast companion can move and take an action. So allowing the ranger to use both his action and bonus action to do their own thing. That would make it strong, I know, because dual wielding, hunter's mark, all that stuff, the ranger would dealing his normal damage and the beast would be doing his own things as well. However, at least in my games, those beasts will not be readily available everywhere. So if your beast dies, if you're like careless with your beast and ends up dead or a tough situation, it might be days or weeks until you find another one to tame. So that's my initial idea of balancing that. Of course, it might not work the same way in other games, but currently I can only play test those things in my games. So I'm thinking of removing the action requirements from the ranger. Then keeping it alive, the investment that we were talking about, the Beast Companion would be able to take some items, like some kind of armor and some kind of weapon as well. Now, this is hard to there's no definite list. Flanking strike maneuver, like an option for the ranger to strike, then the pet attacks, limited use, something you train it to do. That's instead of the action economy or in addition. Instead of removing the action economy from the ranger, of the 7th level feature. Oh, the 7th level feature, I think it's easy to do it. Like if your beast companion doesn't attack, okay, let's think for first why it wouldn't attack. So if it doesn't attack, it means that attacking in that situation is not the priority of the ranger. There is something more important to do, which could be either fleeing or helping someone. These are the usual cases of attacking not being important in D&D. So dash, disengage, and help are three actions that fit in those scenarios. Instead of the 7th level feature as it is, it could take an action, or it could take two of those actions, like dash, disengage, or help, two of those actions on the same turn. I mean, there's no reason to disengage twice, but there is a reason to dash twice. There is a reason to help two people at the same time. So if the beast is not attacking, fetch item interaction. That depends greatly on what kind of beast. Like the body arrangement of the beast. How does it have limbs? Does it have hands? It doesn't, like taking items or even grabbing a potion from a bag for some type of creatures is pretty much impossible. Like you cannot ask a spider to grab a potion. It will either break it or just drop it. So item interaction is clunky with beasts because of how they can handle items. However, tailoring some armor and some weapon to a specific beast, that's up to the skill of a blacksmith, so it can be done. Who would tame a spider? Someone who has access to a lot of spiders. Like, can you think of any player who has access to a lot of spiders? I think those players would tame a spider. Okay, let me start typing before I forget. One. Can take an action Okay, is it visible, by the way, or are the letters too small? Might be a little bit too small. They're kind of too small for me as well. And they're not really getting any bigger. Could I type it on a journal? No, it's the same size. Can I increase the font size? I think I can, but it might look weird. Core. Font size, okay, let's see. 6. Oh boy, it looks... Okay, the font size of everything else increased, but the typed letters did not. That is so bad. Okay, so the magic items gives the ability to the beast to take an action after the Beastmaster's turn. Now, scaling with how long you keep it alive. I think that's the most important part, to keep the flavor of the Beastmaster. How much? Increase. Damage by 1 and HP by 2. So, okay, let's think. You get it at level 3. If you keep it alive until level 10, that's plus 7 to damage. If it has multi-attack, this might be a little devastating. Yeah, I can see this going very, very overpowered, with the beast dealing an extra 7 damage per attack, and the Beastmaster being able to dual wield and attack 3 times. Yeah. Increasing the damage 1 per 2 levels. So by level 10, you would have a plus 3. I think that's more okay. Yeah, if it has a multi-attack, it's not that massive of a damage. You just get like 2 attacks for an extra 6 damage. Yeah, let's start with that and see how, and we'll take some examples of some beasts and see how they scale. For every 2 level ups, that making it part of the proficiency bonus makes a lot of sense, but feels a bit like the dragon trainer. There is proficiency bonus in their damage already. They already get the ranger's proficiency bonus to their damage, to their AC, to their... where else do they get? Add your proficiency bonus to the beast AC, attack rolls, and damage rolls. Yeah, so they do get it already on the damage rolls. But this is a static, like even if you get a new pet, it still gets your proficiency bonus. We want something that rewards the pet for staying alive long. So if you get a new pet at level 10, it doesn't have anything. Like it starts from 0. So you want to keep the same one alive as long as possible to care for it. For every 2 level ups that the beast companion is alive, its damage increases. Its attack damage, because it might have some, well, I don't think they have spells, but I don't remember every single beast, so there might be one that has spells. So let's say attack damage increased by 2. And third, we'll have fourth as well. The beast can wear specially crafted armor and weapon one of each, so no multiple armors, no multiple weapons. Of course, there are no, there might be items. There are some third-party sources that handle a lot of pet things. They might have pet gear as well. But I think the majority will be homebrewed either on the spot or depending how the campaign goes. A short list of options to choose from. Depends on the pet, on the companion as well. Like there are so many choices. I can't make, you cannot put armor on flying things, for example. Even medium armor would be very heavy, so only some light kind of padding. But if it is a small flying creature, it still cannot lift any meaningful protection. So it's hard to make any list. The possibilities and the variations are a lot. The majority, though, would give a maximum of 3, I would say. Like the best possible armor you could get, I would say +3 to AC. As for weapons, the weapons can go further. Weapons can be more versatile. Like it could give either to attack, either to damage, maybe of course both. Like protection +1, which could mean armor or making a flying creature more evasive. But how do you make the creature more evasive? By putting extra weight on it. Like, I don't think I follow the logic. The moment you put anything of considerable weight to any flying creature, it should be less evasive. Wouldn't it be an item just training for creatures that can't wear armor? Training has problems. Training always has problems. All kinds of training have problems in D&D, in my experience. There is you mean that kind of like you go to a trainer and you pay to get your pet trained. But training has two, like one or two big problems, which is the time. Training usually requires large chunks of time, and players in every game, if they have any kind of training available, they always are like, for the rest of the day I will be training. Like, even if they just fought like a deadly battle, or they have just exited the dungeon, for the rest of the day I will be training. Like they treat their characters as machines. So there's no regard to like they will rest for 8 hours because the rules say so, that they need to sleep 8 hours, and the rest of the day they will be 100% working on training if allowed. So there is no regard to any realism with training. Every second available on the day will go on training because you just say it and it happens. In reality, we both know that if you want to train on anything, you don't do it like that. You don't sleep, and the moment you wake up, you train for the rest of the day. There are so many factors that come in, like other tasks, other obligations, motivation, mood, energy levels. Like, you can't just do it for the rest of your day. But because we don't role play the rest of the day realistically in D&D, and the person can say what they want to do in a simple sentence, it is much easier to abuse any kind of training in D&D. That's why I don't want to put any personal training. If there is a training that someone else is doing it for you, and like an NPC, then yes, because the dungeon master can regulate, like, okay, the trainer is available for 2 hours per day. He cannot work more than 2 hours per day. He has other things to do. And you need X hours of training to complete this task. So there is a defined time period that you need to train. Experience it has gained from fine combat. Yes, this is what I meant from investment on keeping it alive. This is exactly so. By keeping it alive means that it has fought many battles with you. It gains experience on how to fight better with you, how to kill enemies more efficiently. That's why its damage is increased. But you can't get AC by experience. Like theoretically you can, I guess. Like, you can learn how to be more dodgy if we're talking about an evasive creature, because if we're talking about armor or taking the blows, withstanding the blows, there's not really much to learn. It's about your body and how your how the skin is, etc., etc. But then again, it would be like 1 AC per 10 levels or something. You cannot have 1 AC per 3 levels, or 4 or 5 even. Like there's a lot of increase. Getting an extra 3 AC and then wearing armor for another 3 AC, you have plus 6 AC on your pet. Like, no player character has plus 6 AC from their from the common sources. Like, you need magic items to do so. So giving AC with magic items on the pets might be possible. Of course, you need the appropriate magic item, but we're talking about common items. So the only thing that training has meaning and is not training, when I'm saying training, I mean the experience, like by keeping it alive and fighting alongside you, I think is the damage. Like damage should go up as the player levels up and the creature is with them, but AC does not necessarily goes up with level. And it's the same thing with many player characters as well. Hit points is another topic I want to check. They get another. I don't remember how the hit die works. It can spend hit dice like any other creature. Here it doesn't say anything about getting hit dice. Or do you mean we should add the ability to get hit die? At the end of the first paragraph. Oh. Its hit point maximum equals the hit point numbers in its stat block or 4 times your range level, whichever is higher. Like any creature, it can spend hit dice during short dice to regain hit points. Where do you see it? I don't see it. Four times the ranger level. Not a lot, yes. The other beasts have more. But I will make it not die at 0. So it will have a safe mechanism for death. More hit points. So I'm thinking like that. Increasing its hit points, what does it actually change? Increases the time it can spend in battle. Like it takes a hit, it takes another hit, it takes another hit, until it reaches 0 and dies. So increase the hit points right now is increasing the time it could stay in battle. But putting another mechanism on when it dies, it might not increase the time it stays in battle, but puts an extra tactic, an extra layer of choices on what to do. Like, do I stabilize my beast? Do I heal it? Do I ask someone else to heal it? There is the chance to bring it back. Increasing the hit points, just put more time on the timer of the beast. And increasing it also, it would make it similar to the Drake Warden and the Primal Companions, which have more hit points. They have 5 times the Ranger level plus 5 is the Drake. So I think the hit points should be as they are. Most likely, you will choose the hit points that they have on their own. They will be higher than the Ranger level. And we have increased their damage, and we have increased drastically. We have improved drastically the action economy of the Beastmaster. We have given them the ability to wear specially crafted armor and weapons. And one of each. And there was one more thing that I wanted to add to the item, but what was it? I forgot it. Oh yes, it was the ability to to not die at 0. Nope. Periapt of wound closure. Let me check that. What is that? When you wear this pendant, you stabilize whenever you are dying at the start of your turn. In addition, whenever you roll a hit die to regain, double the number of hit points it restores. Yeah. Yeah, this effect, at least the first part. The first part is what I'm looking for the beast. Like, I don't want it to make death saving throws. Or do I? No, that would be too many rolls. So the beast companion goes unconscious and stabilizes, but it can die from excessive damage. But wait a second. So if you let's think of some weird scenarios, okay? If we make it like that, and then you take the beast and you throw it into a mildly acid pool. The pool does not deal a lot of damage per turn. If the beast stabilizes every turn, it means that the beast is immortal inside an acid pool. It burns and burns and burns, but its skin somehow comes back to normal and it will never die, even though it's unconscious inside an acid pool. So we have some weird interactions here. Uses per day. Okay, that works. That works. So when the beast takes damage that drops it to 0 or lower, it falls unconscious. As a reaction, the Beastmaster can use the item. I will call it item because I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be amulet, maybe trinket, maybe ring. Use the item to stabilize to magically, let's mention, to magically stabilize the beast if it is within 60 feet of the Beastmaster. So you will waste your reaction. I think that's not a big price to stabilize your prized companion. And you can use it once per long rest. So it's not spammable. In case of something went really wrong, you took a bad decision and you send your companion in a very tough spot. You don't want to regret this decision for the rest of the campaign. You have a way to stabilize your unconscious companion. But that way it is not spammable, so you will not be doing any abusing with your otherwise immortal companion. Also, if there's here, unless there should be some risk, like, okay, mountain dropped on your companion, it doesn't fall unconscious. It should die at that case. So if it takes more than half their maximum HP in damage, they should be dead. How do I phrase this without too many words? Unless the damage exceeds okay, we have some math here, but we will phrase it better in the final version. Okay, so action economy greatly boosted, damage boosted for as long as you keep it alive. Can wear armor and have some specially crafted weapons as well. When the beast takes down, okay, okay, let's theory craft now. Let's have a ranger. Let's take a ranger and think what would the potential damage be. Let's go for level 10. Or level, actually we should check first at 5, which is like a critical level, and in many adventures, it is a level that many adventures pass through and easily comparable with other classes. So we go with a, let me put another sheet here so we can keep some notes. So we're going for the maximum damage potential, and not like really maximum, but a very high. Dual wielding possibly. Dual wielding, hunter's mark. What else? Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter is doing more damage than dual wielding. Are you sure? I don't think it does. The standard version, yeah, but the one that we are actually using, the new dual wielding, should be dealing more. Do we have the new dual wielding? Yes. Oh, that's I'm checking the feat now. We don't even need the feat actually. So, okay, let's take. Let's put maximum stats. Maybe you have a high-powered character, so 20 on dex. Okay, which is not that rare by level 5. So 20 on dex, wielding 2 short swords. What's the highest light weapon that you can dual wield in damage? I think that's a short sword, even with my new weapons. Let's. Oh, the tri-blade dagger. No, it's not that higher. Not Orcus Cleaver, maybe. Yeah, Orcus Cleaver. Orcus Cleaver deals +1 damage on each attack after the first. If you hit with 2 different weapons on your turn. So Orcus Cleaver and Short Sword. Short Sword, what does it do? When you wield 2 weapons of different type, you get +1 bonus to attack rolls with this weapon. Okay, so these 2 actually synergize well. Yes, they're both finesse and light. So 2 attacks. 2 attacks. Finesse Orcus weapon. Yes, it is. It is finesse Orcus weapon. It is a short. It is very similar to short sword. It's just more crudely made with a different type of blade. Otherwise, it doesn't have any Orcus features. It is used by the fastest orcs of the tribe. So we have 1d6 plus 1d6 plus 1, then 1d6 and 2d6 on the offhand, then Hunter's Mark 3 times, so 3d6. Pet, let's take the wolf. I think it's one of the most popular ones. Wolf 5e. One-fourth. Yeah, it has pack tactics. So it deals 2d4 plus 2 plus proficiency bonus of the ranger. 2d4 plus 2. Proficiency is +3 at this point. I forgot all the dex modifiers. So if we go with 20 dex, so we have a +5 on all of those. And if you got it at level 3 and you kept it alive at level 5, means it deals 1 more extra damage. Am I forgetting anything? 2 attacks with your action, 1 bonus action attack with your offhand. Hunter's Mark on all 3 attacks, and Pet. I don't think the Pet triggers Hunter's Mark. It should be only from attacks from the Ranger. Or does it mention anything about? Maybe it mentions anything for the Pet. I can't remember. Probably not. Yeah, it would have been too strong. So, what is the average and what is the maximum of this thing? 1, 2, 4, 7, 76 have an average of 28. 2d4 have an average of 6. So 32 plus 5, 10, 15, 20, 22. We have a total of 54 average damage per turn, assuming that you hit with all your attacks, okay? Because, okay, you might miss, but we cannot really calculate with misses here. There are too many variables. And maximum damage, maximum would be 11 plus, oh, I need a calculator for this too, so many numbers. 11 plus 12 plus 17 plus 18 plus 14, 72. Theoretical, I mean, maximum, if you're like the most lucky person and you roll maximum on every single die, you do 72 damage on a single turn. Of course, if you crit on all of them, there's even more, but these chances are like purely theoretical. They never really happen in game. What we care about is the average one. What level is that? That's level 5. That level, doesn't it sound a little bit strong? The assumption is that all 4 attacks hit. The wolf, however, has a +4 to hit with advantage. The wolf can still, on a level, if you're fighting equally balanced enemies for CR, for a group of adventurers 5 level, with +4 to hit. Oh wait, no, she gets the proficiency, so has a +7. No, he's okay. The wolf is okay and has advantage with pack tactics. So yeah, the wolf will hit, most likely will hit. I think the ranger's attacks are more likely to miss than the wolves. And even if we don't take 20 dex, and we put the dex to a mere 16, which I don't see many rangers with 16 dex at level 5, you lose 6 damage. That's all you lose from this. So the 54 becomes 48. 48 average damage on a turn. Now let's compare with a barbarian, the easiest example. Barbarian with a great axe, or with a great sword. I'll put with a great sword, and which is the most damaging. Maybe frenzy, berserker with frenzy, so they attack 3 times. With a 20 strength, they have 2d6 plus 5 plus rage damage, which is 2. So plus 7, 2d6 average damage is 4 and 4, 8, plus 7, 15. 15 times 3 is 45. the average damage of a berserker in rage using frenzied rage is lower than these rangers and the Beastmaster. So I think it needs some toning down. Of course, you're spending a spell slot to cast Hunter's Mark on the previous turn, and there are some requirements, but I feel like the damage is a little bit much, and that's caused mostly by the action economy, I think, rather than the bonuses we gave. The flat damage every 2 levels is not... it's just the one. Like in this whole thing, it's just the one. It's the action economy that makes it so big. What can we do? It would also combat. Would really feel bad to lose your pet. Is that a bad thing? Story-wise, I mean, okay, for the player, it's a bad thing to lose your pet. You're gonna be sad or not. But looking at it from a third perspective, is it a bad thing to be something very, very dramatic to lose your companion? I think that's the part of the Beastmaster. Hello, Nerdlord 57. Hello, how are you? Seems too punishing to lose such a large amount of damage. The amount of damage that you lose here is out of the 54, you lose the... Wait, how much was it? 6 plus 2, 8 plus 4, 12. You lose 12. Out of the 54 brings you down to 42. Master of Beasts rather than Master of One. The Master of Beasts refers to their ability to tame any beast. We were talking about it before, and we were saying that the Drake Warden class, which is the most comparable to this, and Tassa's alteration to the Beastmaster that gives them the primal companion. They give them pets as resources. Like your pet died, you spend a spell slot, you summon it again. It is not a companion anymore. Like you don't really care if it dies or not. It becomes a resource that helps you do more damage or tank more damage. And we don't want that for the Beastmaster. We don't want the Beastmaster to have like a more meaningful and a bond with their companion that has like some effect on the story and the narrative of the game, rather than use it as a resource. Otherwise, people would just play Drake Warden, which is just a better Beastmaster, if you make their pets behave similarly. So that's why we want the Beastmaster to have... they can master one, and the more they keep it, the more they invest on it, the better it becomes. And yes, that's the downside, Kevin, that if you lose it later, it is it is worse. Like, and even story-wise, it functions the same. Like, you tame the wolf. If it dies the next day, okay, you will be a bit sad, but you just knew it for one day. If you tame a wolf and you've been like 3 years with that wolf, like you've been through adventures, you killed the elites, you've overthrown a kingdom, and the wolf was always on your side, and then you lose it afterwards, then the emotional impact is much greater. Yes, you could even find a druid to cast Awaken them. That's also a good idea. And we want to give it also, we're discussing to make an item that would give the Beastmaster some boosts. So one of the boosts would also allow the companion to wear armor and weapons to fix some of some weaknesses that some companions might have. But currently, we were checking the damage output. We were doing some with the suggested with the current changes, with the current boosts. We were checking how much is the damage comparison of a level 5 dual wielding ranger. With I have a homebrew dual wielding rule that balances it compared to the two-handed weapons. And it does a good job with balancing it there. But now if we put the beast and 3 attacks of the ranger as well, the damage is a little too high. How can we nerf it a bit without taking away any mechanic? Can we? Is it possible? Oh yeah, and the target, in that case, the target would have to make a saving throw to not fall prone, if we're talking about a wolf. Yeah, the item could be a horn or a whistle. Yeah, that a whistle could be a nice idea. Maybe having now having a small penalty depending on how many attacks per round have. Oh, wait a second. This is a mistake. There is no +5 here. The offhand does not get the dexterity bonus. So this becomes 49 for a start. I don't see what else we could reduce without taking away any mechanic. but currently we're testing the level 5, which it only has a +1. Oh, and this is even without any weapons. This test. So I don't know if it is too small to read here. So this is main attack from Ranger. This is main attack 2. This is offhand. This is Hunter's Mark. And that's the last part is the beast, which in this case is a wolf. This has an average of 9, an average of 10, an average of 8, an average of 12, and an average of 3 plus 3, 6, 12 as well. 12 and 12, 24, 32, 42. Oh, it's 51. Wait, did I calculate wrong? 4 plus 5, 9. 4 plus 5 plus 1, 10. 2 times 4, 8. 3 times 4, 12. 3 plus 4, 10. Yeah, that is correct. So the mistake is is here. This one should be 59. 51, sorry. If we keep the action economy as it was, or almost as it was, spending one action, one attack to command the beast to attack, then the damage reduces by 9 or 10. It becomes 41. Oh, no, sorry. It reduces by more because you lose the 1 Hunter's Mark as well. So it reduces by 3 plus 10, 13. It becomes 38, the average. That seems more sensible in terms of numbers. But I don't like this system that you can tell it to move and it takes no action, but if you tell it to attack, it takes your attack. If it has to use the bonus action, then it becomes the same as the Drake Warden. The Drake Warden's Drake and the Tassa's primal companions, they use the bonus action to attack. Which, in terms of numbers, it's again the same. Like it loses 8 from the offhand, plus 3 from the Hunter's Mark. It loses 11 instead of 13. The difference is not big. So whether it loses one attack or the offhand, in terms of numbers, it's similar here. The big difference is that if you lose your bonus action, then you don't have the ability to move your Hunter's Mark as a Ranger or to cast your Hunter's Mark because you have to use it on a pet. If you sacrifice your attack, when you start getting multiple attacks, it is less punishing. Before you get your extra attack, it spends your main action, which means that you can dodge, you can dash, you can disengage, you can do pretty much anything if you want your beast to attack. What if there was a penalty depending on how many attacks were performed during that turn? But this never sounds good. When players hear a penalty, they always get grumpy. Correct. This is assuming that we have a dual wielding ranger. A lot of player trust. Is it how will trust affect? Like the moment someone gets it, if they want to make a dual wielder ranger, they don't have to intentionally abuse anything. It's naturally gonna happen. They're gonna do so much damage. Okay, so instead of taking any action or bonus action, the beast I feel like the player character often have a bit more oomph. What do you mean? What's oomph? Than the norm as they surpass challenges and develop. But if it took the ranger's movement? That's an idea. Mechanically, I can see it balancing a bit things. I don't know how I would explain it though. Like how can you even try to make sense of it? Like speaking somehow takes your capability to move around. Yeah, in Pathfinder you have your actions and you choose where to spend them. Well, if you in Pathfinder you actually it's more like yeah, in Pathfinder treats it as energy. Like you have these energy points and you want to spend energy on moving, that's fine. You want to spend energy swinging your weapon, that's fine. But here it does not work like that. Like moving is on its own. I was thinking the following. It takes, instead of action or bonus action, it takes their extra attack. So if they have an extra attack, it takes the extra attack. If they don't have an extra attack, the creature can perform an action anyway. So before level 5, the ranger is not penalized at all. So they will deal more damage than their counterpart damage dealers, because they will have, I mean, between level 3 and 5, because they will not have the pet before 3. So levels 3 and 4, they will deal more damage than other damage dealers because they don't have extra attack, but they have a pet. But at level 5, they have to sacrifice their extra attack for the pet to attack. In that sense, we reduce the damage of the equation by 9 plus 3, 12. It becomes a 39, which is slightly less than the pure damage dealers in their best form, like a barbarian berserker with 3 attacks and maximum strength. So it is still viable. Plus, you have more utility than the barbarian. Like with a pet, you can do other things as well. And their attacks would also have some other effects, like the ability to knock prone on the wolf. Yeah, I think from all the ideas we had so far, you can word it like when you take the attack action, you can forego it to allow your beast companion to make an attack action. But if you word it like that, it means that before level 5, your companion will never make an attack because you don't have an attack. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, no. When you take the attack action, you get 2 attacks on level 5. I think it has to be specifically mentioned that if you don't have an extra attack, you can sacrifice one of your attacks to have your companion make attack. But if you have only one attack available, your companion can make one for free. It will be worded something like that. Or even more simple, you can forgo one of your attacks to have your companion attack, and then at levels 3 and 4, your companion can make this attack for free. Because we're only talking about those 2 levels. After 5, you get your extra attacks. Okay, let's start typing it a bit closer to its final form. You What kind of weapons you can get crafted for the beast itself? That's very open to discussion and it will not be a defined list because it will vary from pet to pet. Like a spider has different type of weapons than a wolf, than a flying creature, etc., etc. So depends largely on the pet, depends on how talented the craftsman will be. So it's gonna be most likely homebrewed, not on the spot, but when you express interest and the DM knows what pet you have, in what area you are, there will be some choices there. But there is no predefined list before, because the choices and the variables are too many. Okay. Okay, that's the first bonus. Every 2 levels. I don't like the phrasing of this. How can we phrase it better? For every two, no. Maybe while you level up together. No. Each time second level up alongside the same companion, its damage is increased by 1. Okay. I like this phrasing better than the previous ones. Okay. Okay. This feature can. Okay, the wording has improved considerably. Let's give them some names, these abilities. Okay. Now this could be a whistle. Whistle is a good idea. And it can hang around your neck. Oh, I don't have the module. Wait a second. I'll need to enable a module to give me the file picker. Moulinet, core, and tiles. Okay. Back to the item. Okay, we have the file picker now. Hopefully we'll have a whistle somewhere. No, we don't. Okay, what's the closest icon we have? Plants, gems. What the hell is this? Looks like a shoe with a mouth. Feather. Tail. A voodoo doll. An owl figurine. Come on, it really doesn't have a whistle. Oh, we have a horn. Okay. Name. Any name ideas? Could be Beastmasters something. Or it doesn't have to be Beastmaster something, could be anything else. What about Horn of the Wilds? Since we're talking about wild beasts, the Huntsman Call. Oh, that's a good name as well. I think we can skip the. So let's put it Huntsman's. It's not an armor, it is a trinket. No attunements, be equipped. It has a reaction available, the stabilizing part. The action type does not have to roll anything. You like Horn of the Wilds too? No price, it's not a buyable item, it's going to be given to Beastmasters as they create their characters. Also, it's going to be known that they will have it, so otherwise no one will pick this subclass still. I think that's good. That makes the Beastmaster now having comparable damage output to other classes and the Drake Warden as well. And it has a pet that can be like the benefits of the Drake on the Drake Warden is that it's very strong by default. It doesn't have a lot of utility. It doesn't have a lot of variation. Like, yeah, it can change colors, it can change elemental damage types, but that's about it. But here, this one can tame any beast that suits the criteria. And even if the monster manual has a specific amount, any DM can homebrew a beast that makes sense. Like that is a natural beast. Its stats tailored to match the 1/4 CR other beasts, and maybe one or two unique abilities to that type of animal. So its Beastmaster will have a different pet. Of course, if you go for the optimizing route, many of them will pick like wolf or some other very good choices. But if you're not one of those players, you can pick a Beastmaster, not feel useless, have a beast that is unique and themed to your character, that fits the character's personality or a backstory or whatever theme you're going with, and be an asset in combat like everyone else, instead of a character who does not do much of anything. Plus, it motivates the person who plays this Beastmaster to keep the same pet for long, to invest in it, to become friends with it, to buy gear for it, so it can be stronger and stronger, and probably go for like maybe this class will even shine even more at the later it goes, because or not only because of the ability that we gave it to get extra damage, but you will be finding better and better gear as well, or you would be getting richer and richer to obtain more expensive gear. It could even become a mini side quest or a personal storyline to find some exquisite special item to craft gear for your pet. Yeah, I'm reading it again, and I'm quite happy with this, with the end result. Pimp my grizzly bear. Yeah, I can see how this pet becomes more important than the rest of the group if I am the Beastmaster Ranger. Like, automatically this pet will die last. Like, everyone else will die first before I let this pet die. Let's put how much does a horn weight? I'll put 2 pounds. Maybe it's a big horn. Okay, I'll put 1 pound. Not very heavy. What else? Do we need to make anything else on this item, or do we move to the next subclass? I think I'm happy with it. I will give it a, well, I will give it a test. I cannot give it a test unless I convince a player to play Beastmaster, but yeah, I will advertise it on my players in case someone considers Beastmaster. Next subclass that I had to actually go and look, because I forgot what this subclass does. Like, I can't remember if I've ever seen anyone playing this subclass, or they played and then they died, or they left the game because the subclass was really bad. And that's the way of the of the elements, the monk. What is it called? Is it called the way of the elements? I can't remember. Let's see. Again, from Player's Handbook. Arcane Archer is another one that is very underwhelming, and I'm planning to boost that one too. But yeah, Way of the Four Elements was even worse. I was looking like, does this subclass really exist? Like, I can't remember anyone playing this. Yeah, I had to read it again because I couldn't remember anything from it. And after reading it, I realized that it has potential. There's a lot of thematic spells here that this monk can use. So it's a spell casting monk. Now, this in itself is kind of a problem, meaning that the player who goes for the monk probably does not want to be a spellcaster, right? If they wanted a spellcaster, you don't pick a class that is called monk. You have a guy called wizard, a guy called warlock, a guy called sorcerer, and others like clerics, druids that have billions of spells. If you like spells, you probably do not go for a class that is called monk. Now, someone who really likes monks, but likes a little bit of spellcasting, I think is the only possible candidate for this subclass. So the subclass has dug its own pitfall, I think, despite being mechanically weak. It has a theme that is very hard to find audience for. Like, similar to, I'd say, to wild magic barbarians. Like, the guy who goes for the barbarian doesn't really get excited by wild magic. Of course, there are players who find fun and excitement into playing everything that has contrast, and that's especially younger players. The younger they are, the weirder your character is, the more exotic, the more contrast it has. It looks more exciting for younger players. The older you get, you start to go with things that have like a consistent theme, that have a stronger identity, because it's easier to role play that as well. Like, as a human who lives in the modern world, you might have read fiction and novels and all that stuff to have some idea of what such characters do, but it's still really hard to role play something that is very far away from yourself. Like, you can only guess. You see that, yeah, for the chance of doing something extreme. Otherwise, yeah, the wild magic barbarian, personally, I think it's like terrible idea. And while the monk of the four elements, I don't think that's that terrible, because the monastic life of monks, and at least the media that we've been fed with monks and stuff, does have some kind of elemental control, I'd say, like through meditation, through ki. They even in fiction they have these. I don't know if they cast spells strictly, but they have some kind of elemental control. So it's not as bad as the wild magic barbarian. This one is more sensible thematically. But mechanically, it falls very short. So even its narrow audience, it cannot really please. So we need the magic item for this guy as well, if it wants to ever see the light of play. But before this magic item, we'll go on a short break, and we'll be right back, 10 to 15 minutes. Be right back. Okay, we're back. So, back to the monk. Their finite resources, I mean, spell slots are finite resources too. They just have poor management, I guess. But you're right. This specific one is using too much of its key for the spells available. And however, they do regain their key points back on short rest. So what we need to give on this subclass here might be actually very simple. Might be an item that reduces the key consumption of those spells. So let's take the level 5 monk again as example. How many key points does he have? He should have 5, right? Yes. So they have the same amount as their level. So they have 2 attacks, possible bonus attack with offhand as well. They have the stunning strike on level 5, and they can cast, let's see what they can cast. So these are too high level. This one does not take any key. 5 key points to cast stone key. So all your spell slots, all your, 17th level, never mind. 2 key points to cast Thunder Wave. So you can cast 2 times Thunder Wave at 5 level. The other spellcasters that can cast Thunder Wave, how many times can they cast it per turn? So we have a Bard. It is a first level spell, right? So the Bard at first level has, let's check their spell slots. So a Bard at 5 level, he has 4. Then, oops. Cleric and Druid have the same amount. I think it should be 4 or 5 too. Okay, 4. Sorcerer might be... Wizard should have the same as well. But Sorcerer and Warlock will, I think, are different. No, Sorcerer has 4 as well. Only Warlock has less. Let's check the Wizard. Okay, so every full caster has 4, except the Warlock. Or has 2 of 3rd level. Okay. So the monk, the 5th level monk, can cast 2 Thunder Waves, while every other class can cast 4 Thunder Waves. Every full caster, class can cast 4 Thunder Waves, and have some stronger spells as well, because we only checked their 1st level spells. So they're not half casters in terms of spell slot availability. They're less. They're close to a third. You need to be 11th level to cast Fireball. A paladin gets level 3 spells at level 8 or 9, if I remember right. So they're actually slower than the third, 1/3 casters. 6th level to cast Shatter, which is level 2 spell. And paladins would get it at level 5. They will get level 2 spells. Okay, so they're slower. I don't think I want to mess with that because after all they're monks. They're not like spellcaster class. So their speed at which they learn the spells, I think I want to leave as it is. But I would want to make their spells cheaper to cast. And maybe give them few more spells because I see that they do not have many. I'm checking if there's a correlation between key points and spells, right? Can only pick what? From what I see, the correlation is the key points required are the spell level +1. Oh, that's what you mean. I see. Elemental attunement disable, which is this one, which is like a cantrip type. And one other elemental design of your choice, which are detailed in the you don't want this in at 6th, 11th, and 17th. Okay, we can increase the number that they learn as well. So we can easily increase, I think, without breaking any balance here, because the balance is already broken. So we can't really break it. We're only going towards fixing it now. I'm seeing if I'm forgetting any other restriction they might have. The maximum number of key points you can spend to cast a spell in this way, including its base key point cost and any additional key points you spend to increase its level, is determined by your monk level as shown as the spell key points. Okay. Okay. I think my first idea of a boost is going to be quite big. So what if we make the cost of all these elemental disciples one less? So the cost of key point matches the spell level. First, this will help them cast more, because with the same key points, they can cast more cheaper spells. But also, this will allow them to upcast them to a higher amount, because the total amount now, while the total amount is the same, the base cost has been reduced by 1, so they have 1 extra level of upcasting available for each spell. Meaning that a 5-level monk can cast Burning Hands at 4th level, right? Wait, Burning Hands costs 2, where is Burning Hands? I lost Burning Hands. Oh, there it is. Okay, so Burning Hands will cost 1 with this, and you can upcast it 2 times. Okay, so it would make it 3. Sorry, not 4. Yes, a 3rd level Burning Hands at 5 makes them half. Wait, no, that makes them a full caster, right? Which would be all they can do in that turn outside of bonus actions. Correct. That is correct. But that's normal, isn't it? At level 5, a wizard can cast 3rd level spell slots as well. He will cast 1 spell and then bonus action whatever the wizard can do, which usually not that much. So it is on the economy of the turn, of the action of the turn, is pretty much the same as a full caster. Yes, that is correct. But if you're choosing between, okay, so I have 2 points to mention to this comment. One is that if you want a monk that is just hitting things, then why did you pick the 4 elements subclass? You're supposed to like spells, right? This subclass is giving you spells. So if you just like hitting things, pick another one. And my second point is that Burning Hands can do things that punching things does not, like can hit multiple targets, can do fire damage while your fists do not. So similarly, Thunder Wave, which costs 1 key point with the change, provides utility of pushing people away. So you might be punching the whole combat, but you come across a situation where you need something different, where punching does not yield results anymore. And that's where your spells are coming in. I think as a concept, you're still a monk. You're still going to be punching things and kicking things. The difference is that with the other monks is that you will have access to spells. You will not be someone who will be casting spells left and right all the time, and your primary source of damage is spells. But when your punching is not enough, you have access spells to either augment your situation or provide utility. I don't think this subclass is supposed to be a spellcaster damage dealer. So while some spells do some damage, I think the majority is to provide some kind of utility or crowd control inside the fight. And at 6th level, you have 6 key points, and you could be casting 3 times Hold Person. That's not bad. You can disable a person and start kicking it non-stop, and then repeat it 2 more times. So that will be one boost of the item. I don't know what the item will be yet. Let's start creating something. Maybe a tattoo. Maybe, yeah, a tattoo seems nice, fitting for the monk. I'm experiencing some weird delay in Foundry. I don't even know what's causing it. First time I see it. There is a slight delay on everything I'm doing. Oh yeah, and my FPS is quite low. Might be because of the streaming, I guess. Let me check the resource manager. CPU at 50%, GPU at 80, memory at 40. Nothing is capped. Why is it so sluggish? Okay. First bonus reduces the key, whoops, not that type of key, the key consumption disciples by 1. I don't think that's enough. No, we need still to do more to bring this dead subclass back to life. Revivify is not enough. It needs true resurrection. Giving it some more spells, yes. What other elemental spells can we give them? I mean, I do have many homebrew elemental spells, but when I'm saying many, there are too many for the monk. So let's check the official ones before we go to the homebrew. Spells. I hope that has some filters. Okay, good. Advanced filters. Where are the filters? Spell tags. I want filters by damage type. Does it have? Oh, there we are. Damage type. Fire, cold, acid, force, lightning. thunder. What other types of damage we have? Not poison, not piercing, not psychic, not radiant, not slashing. Okay, I think we got all the elemental types. Then schools. Abjuration, enchantment, evocation, transmutation. Not the rest, they do not fit monk theme. Subclass no, source category no. Okay, let's see what we have here. Okay, we have 4 pages. Wait, is it 4 or is it more? 4 pages of spells that meet those filter criteria. Does it have any pattern that is following? Breath of Winter. I mean, Cone of Cold. Sorry, Cone of Cold is damaging AoE. Hold person is crowd control. Single target. This is a buff for himself. This is crowd control. Firewall pure damage. Shatter pure damage. Utility. Crowd control and damage. Utility, damage, crowd control, and damage. So they get all kinds of spells, like there is no specific theme or pattern on the spells that they have. So we don't want cantrips. So everything except cantrip. There are a lot of spells to pick from to give them here, actually. Giving all of them will be too much. But also, I'm seeing that some of them have some kind of alteration. For example, where was it? This one, the Eternal Mountain Defense, allows you to cast Stonekin, but only targeting yourself. Okay, the others, the flight also in gaseous form targeting yourself. Okay, this needs a lot of searching, I'd say. Well, not searching, but picking. Because there are a lot of spells, you cannot give like all of them to the monk, and then they have the similar, more expansive spell list than the cleric. So I will need to pick specifically, like maybe 1 or 2 per level. Wait, until what level do they get spells? They get, what's the highest? 4th level? No, I think I saw 5th level somewhere. No? Oh, Cone of Cold, 5th level. So they get spells up to level 5. I don't want to change that, so I would not pass 5th level as well. So maybe 2 spells per level up to 5, all of elemental nature. So this is gonna be the second feature that gives them 10 extra spells to choose from as disciples. The level requirement, let's see, is it a pattern? Is there any pattern? I don't see any pattern. How did they decide this? So first level spell, second level spell here is available right away. But this, wait, where is it? But this second level spell, you need to be 6th level to cast it. Okay, other than this one irregularity, all other second level spells are available at level 6. Third level spells are available at level 11. And 4th and 5th level spells, why are both 4th and 5th at 17th? I don't make sense of their system, but I will stay true at it and follow it. So the second bonus of the item would be to give them 10 extra possible choices. Oh, do we have to name them as elemental disciples as well? They have extra names, like this one is called Feast of Four Thunders and allows you to cast Thunder Wave. Like, there's no flavor, there's nothing, it just has another name. So maybe I have to give them names as well to make it look more complete. But this will take a lot of time, so actually we could do it. We could do it here. First we have to pick the spells though. Absorb elements. Wait, let me filter better without cantrip and only 1st to 5th. Actually, let's go level by level, so there are few choices. Okay, 1st level elemental spells. Disintegrate is not a 1st level. Why? Why is it here? Oh, because I didn't click filter. So smart of me. I think absorb elements is a good candidate. Frost fingers. Yeah, absorb elements from the list that I see here. Nothing else looks very monk compatible. And if it does, like Thunderwave, they already have it. Maybe Zephyr Strike. as well. Zephyr Strike is a ranger only, right? Spell. So it does fit though with the monk, like the mobility and all that thing, the wind. So maybe Zephyr Strike and absorb elements. Yeah, and absorb elements actually is pretty good. It boosts your next melee attack, and they're gonna do melee attacks. Okay, Frost Fingers. What Frost Fingers? What source is this from? I can't even remember. Oh, okay. I see. It's a rhyme of the Frost Maid. What about magnify? Oh, let me put some sources. Source category core D&D. All these sources have spells, or they just listed everything and they let you figure it out on your own. Okay, absorb elements, Zephyr Strike. I think we're set for first level. Why is it so sluggish? I don't get it. It has so much delay on doing anything. Okay, let's move on to level 2. Okay, Dragon's Breath, isn't it? It's very similar to Burning Hands, isn't it? Oh, I didn't mean to click it. Flame Blade hit metal. Spiritual weapon could also, I mean, I can see it thematically working. Monks are a spiritual class, right? Or not a class, a spiritual themed. So their spiritual weapon will always be a fist. It takes their bonus action, which they already have a use for usually, so it doesn't give them any insane boost in terms of action economy. What else from these? Probably Dragon's Breath. But they could only touch, well, they could only use it on themselves. Okay, level 3. For level 3, I have a very good homebrew one that is similar to Firebolt and is ice themed, so it is elemental. And lightning bolt we could give them, so full elemental damage at level 3 spells. The other is called what was it called? Homebrew, 3rd level. It's Glacier Bloom. And lightning bolt. I wonder how the monk casts fireball. Like the others I can see, when especially when the elements come from the caster and they like it's an extension of their parts, like thunder wave, like burning hands. But throwing the ball some further away does not sound very monk compatible, but more caster like. But it is what it is. Okay, 4th level. Elemental Bane. I don't even remember this spell. Choose one creature you can see within range. You choose one of the following damage. Okay, target must succeed. First time each turn, the affected. Oh, so imposes some kind of vulnerability, weakness. Fire Shield, Ice Storm, Starfire. Almost all of them seem elemental. They already know all of fire. I mean, they already have it on their choices. What other 4th level spells? Stone Skin. I just realized that I filtered with damage, so I excluded any spell that doesn't do damage. But I like this Elemental Bane. I think I would give them this element. Do I have it here? Yes, okay. And 4th level spells are kind of famous for their utility, so let me check without damage as well. Hopefully filters for utility. You failed your investigation check. Wow. Okay. How? That I just put utility. The first one, there's no utility. Oh, it's buff. Okay. They're called buff or debuff instead of utility. What? How? I don't get it. How is it failing the filters now? Freedom of movement is very fitting. I'm just making sure they don't have it. Okay, they don't have it already. It's not the elemental at all, is it? It doesn't have any relation with. Yeah, no, I won't give it them if it doesn't have any relation. So Fire Shield instead. And lastly, for 5th level, Fire, Cold, Lightning, Thunder, Acid. I think we're good. Cone of Cold. Flame Strike, no. Arcane Hand, Banishing, none of them seems fitting. Yeah, not many 5th level fitting ones. Let's check if there is any buff. Oh, I'm failing my investigation checks. Skill empowerment. Okay, that's actually fitting as meditation. Okay, actually, yeah, 9 is enough because the last one they only have 2. Okay, so 9 extra spells in their list, 1 less key point consumption. What else does this tattoo need to make? Something that happens every time they cast spells, so we give them a more unique signature of their subclass because they're going to punch things, of course, but so does every other monk subclass. We need something that they do because they cast spells and augments their punches or something. Maybe they can move whenever they cast a spell, like a small amount, like 10 feet. Or what else? What else that could trigger every time they cast a spell? Or maybe they by 1 or maybe by 2. No, 2 is a bit much. I'll stay with 1. Saving throws and some kind of bonus that affects their attacks as well. Okay. Fire shield can be casted. Okay, it's only for yourself anyway. Okay, well, they will need also some names. Like ability names. Absorption. Wait, how do you spell absorption? Is that even a word, or do I remember? Right, absorbance. Wait, that's the noun? There's not a... Oh, there is absorption. Oh, there's with a P. Really? Okay. I didn't know that B changes to P. Thinking about it, a B, if you turn it upside down, it becomes a P. So maybe whoever thought of that just read his paper upside down. Okay, full of elements on the names. Elemental master, elemental collector, elemental absorption, okay, element and elemental punch. Oh, I did not specify how long this lasts. Okay. Now with this tattoo, they can cast more spells. They have 9 more choices. They can upcast spells to a higher level than they did before. And every time they cast, the saving throws get a slight boost against all effects, and saving throws against the same school of magic have advantage. And every time if they cast on the previous turn, their next turn, the first attack have bonus to attack and damage. Maybe I can change that to all attacks. Hello, Brumble. I don't think my DM is having fun dealing with my new character. What? That is kinda common thing I can say. What's your new character? That's happening quite a lot, especially if a new character is dealing a lot of balancing work for your DM to do. A Grank's Shadow Monk. What's a Grank? Is that a race? I don't know what the Grank is. Humanoid poison dart frog. Okay, that's a creature. I assume. Yeah, I think I feel a little bit for your DM. Just imagining a humanoid poison dart frog that is a monk. Just only without knowing the mechanics of that. Just picturing only your character. I'm having trouble. What kind of adventure do I put this creature in? The closest that comes to mind is Ninja Turtles. And it's hard thematically to, because we don't have like that many characters in fiction like that. So it's hard for the DM, for your DM as well, to fit characters like that in. But I don't know what mechanics also they have. So it might be even more complex than that. Okay, I was looking for a kind of tattoo icon. He's more annoyed by the 25 climb speed they get plus shadow step. Depends what you're climbing though. Where are you usually climbing? And are you talking about in combat or out of combat situation? Because in combat, I think it's kind of easier. Usually, battle maps are not that much 3D, so there are not too many spaces to climb. But out of combat, like if your DM is preparing some kind of puzzles, like maze, and he has prepared some kind of challenge or puzzle or trick for you to get from point A to point B, and your character can just simply climb up any vertical wall and skip the whole challenge, then yeah, I can see that that being annoying for the DM. And that goes with all characters, with flying speed and stuff like that. Sneak attack damage with darts. Okay. That's some interesting concept. Your character sounds more like a rogue than a monk so far, though. It's a highly, not even highly. Even if you take the, what is, I think the thief subclass, is it, of the rogue that has some climbing features. So your character does sound a lot like a rogue. There's not the tattoo icon in the foundry. Well, kind of makes sense. How do you depict a tattoo without the body? So how do we, what kind of icon do we pick for this? Downside of growing is I have to be submerged in water for an hour a day, or I get levels of exhausted. But it is, well, what do you do if you go underground in a place that is like dry, or if you go to some desert place? Do you carry a barrel with water all the time and you just dive into the barrel? Endless flask of water, I don't think it counts as being submerged. Pouring water on someone is different than being submerged. Oh, wait, of course, you can fill something. Yeah, if you have an empty container with the endless flask, you can just fill it. So you just carry a bathtub and your endless flask. Oh, come on, no suitable icons for this at all. Nothing that comes even close. Okay, maybe something elemental instead. Oh, they're super small. Yeah, I thought they're like some kind of Ninja Turtle sized, like, but no, that's quite small. So someone else has to carry your barrel to put you in. Okay, maybe element. Okay, finally, this here. Wait, that's the same icon for absorb elements, but it's okay. A bag of holding. What source book is that grung from? Is it homebrew? Is it some? Where is it from? Never heard of it before. It's official, really? Which from what book? Wait, let's Google Gronk 5e. Aggressive frog-like humanoid found in rainforest and tropical lake. Source one grunk above. Okay, I've never even heard that source before. One grunk above. Okay, walking speed of 25 feet and climb speed of 25 feet. Immune to poison damage and the poison condition. Oh wow, that's strong. You can breathe air and water. You poison anything that touches you. You have a high jump feet up to 15 feet. Whoa, whoa, okay. Okay, that's pretty extreme race, and having to submerge in water every day. You can speak, read, and write grung. Wait, your character does not know common. How do you talk with the others? Do the others use comprehend language to talk to you? I croak in Morse code. Oh, I see. So during fights and combat, there's like zero communication. You spend like 10 minutes to say, hi, how have you been? Okay, so today we've made the monk tattoo to boost the long forgotten and dead subclass of the four elements, the way of the four elements, and we have made the huntsman call to boost the also long dead and forgotten Beastmaster class, the subclass of the Ranger. That has been revamped, and then Drake Warden came and it became like obsolete, giving them a more unique identity, not more unique, the same identity they had, but stronger, to make it more unique, both of those subclasses, and boosting their combat capabilities. The Rangers actually quite a lot, but that also comes out of my tweaking on dual wielding to make it more viable for all characters, because usually two-handed weapons are superior. So I had the need in all my games pretty much to boost dual wielding, to make it a viable choice for characters, to have like comparable damage output. So with that tweaked dueling, now the Beastmaster can dish out some pretty serious damage together with his partner. And the Way of the Four Elements monk now has a kind of expanded spell list with its original amount was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 spells. Out of those, one is the basic one, the elemental attunement. So 16 out of the 16 spells, they got 9 more, which is more than 50% extra. Then their consumption of ki reduced by a good amount, which sounds a little one, but it is quite a lot when it comes to their spellcasting. And their maximum upcasting has been increased because of that as well. I didn't check, do they have any spell that requires 1 key point? Because that might be a problem. 6, 3, 5, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 5, 2, 2, 2, 6. Okay, they have nothing that costs 1. Because that would reduce it to 0 and would make it spammable. And giving them bonuses to their martial thingies every time they cast something. Also, it shouldn't be a weapon. Why did they make it a weapon? It should be equipment. Let's find the name. For elements that do, okay. Okay, I'm pretty satisfied with those. I think some players will consider those subclasses now. And on the next time, because I see the time has already passed, we don't have time to make a new one. But on the next time, I'm planning to make one for the Arcane Archer as well. And for the Barbarian, the Berserker. I think the Berserker, that's quite unappreciated. But that spot is not locked. The Arcane Archer is locked. There might be bards. The bard, the College of Whispers, is also very, very forgotten as well. The wizard schools, even though some are a little bit more powerful than others, or others are a little bit forgotten, the wizard itself does not depend that much on its subclass. So I don't want to go mess with 10 different subclasses and try to balance them on their own. A warlock, there again they have the pact and the patron, which the hexblade is the obvious choice for any multi-classing as well, the most popular. The others are not that far from each other. Sorcerer, the wild magic and the draconic one might need a boost as well. The original from Player's Handbook, they have been forgotten quite a lot as well. Druids and clerics, I don't think, they don't depend much on their subclass. Well, they do. At least the druid does, Moon Druid, for example. But the other druids, they have similar spellcasting capabilities, same as the clerics. Although the subclass defines some of their features, the core class plays quite big, the biggest part, I think. What other? Rogues, maybe the mastermind, inquisitive, I don't know how it's called, and the assassin, pretty forgotten as well. Yeah, I think those come to mind when thinking about long forgotten subclasses. Of course, if one of them is really forgotten, I wouldn't remember it right now, which makes me need to check again. But those two, the Way of the Four Elements and the Beastmaster, were top, actually bottom of all subclasses that I know and that I've been having in my games as allowed sources. So that will be it for today. Thank you, everyone who's here. Hope to see you next week as well. If you have any suggestion or recommendation of any homebrewing content that you'd like to see, I'm happy to hear them. I'm looking for ideas for streams as well. Don't want to do the same things over and over again, but sometimes it becomes a necessity. That would be all. Have a good night or afternoon, wherever you are, and see you next week.